Good morning, everyone. Today is June the 13th, and I am standing on our front balcony. I thought I would give you a little update on all the containers we've planted so far in this yard. We're going to go back and start with our strawberries, which was one of our first container projects. These are growing on the side of our balcony in these lovely dollar store pots. And it looks like we've got little strawberries forming, so that's very exciting. There's our first pot. Here is another pot here. It's got a little flower on it. And it looks like a strawberry is forming here, I think. And another little flower. I also planted nasturtiums in all of these pots, and only one that I'm aware of has actually sprouted, which is interesting because it's the pot that has 2 strawberry plants. The only pot with 2 strawberry plants also has a nasturtium in it, which I'm super excited about. I can't wait for the red flowers to trail down the glass panel of our balcony. Here is another one of our strawberry plants. Looks like most of them have bloomed at least one flower cycle, and a lot of them have formed little, what looks like new berries starting to form, so that's really fun. And this container here has got some beautiful flower buds on it. I love the color of that. And one that looks like it might be forming a berry already. And our last strawberry pot has white flowers on this one. And it's looking rather healthy and lush, the foliage. And here are some of the pots I planted on our front balcony. In here we have sweet corn, and we've got several sprouts in this pot, as well as what is probably weeds, though I can't say for sure at this point. I would say most likely these are weeds. I'll probably be pulling them out. I used a mixture of soil from my vegetable garden as well as sea soil in these pots. I'm going to pull this one. Pretty sure that's a weed. And they seem to be growing well. Unfortunately, that probably is where my weeds have come from, the vegetable garden, but that's all right. Another pot of sweet corn. I'm not sure how many corn sprouts I should leave in each pot. They're sort of medium-large pots. If you have an idea of how many would be ideal for this size of a pot, I don't know the diameter. Leave it in the comments below, because I don't want them to get too deprived of nutrients or water. I think 1 is too few, but I don't know if 4 is too many. I could always transplant them if you think it's too many. So let me know what you think in the comments below. How many corn plants should I leave in each pot? So far we only have 2 in this pot. This pot here, I'm thinking it just has 1. It's got a lot of sprouts, but I'm thinking some of those are probably weeds. Although these guys here look like they could be plants. So I think I might leave these ones and see if they actually develop into a regular plant of some kind. I'm sure there are weeds in here too, but these look more like they could be plants, so I'm gonna give them a chance. And in here, this grow bag, this was my first time planting in grow bags. I think I just have 2 tiny sprouts, one here and one over here for corn, and I think 1 weed. This grow bag here is also corn, and I believe we have 3 sprouts. And either plants or weeds, I'm not sure. I'm gonna give some of these guys a chance to show me what they are before I pull them. In this grow bag, I planted some bush beans, and we've got 3 bush bean sprouts. So that's exciting. These are royal burgundy bush beans. And in this grow bag, I have more beans. This one is called Wildflower Dwarf French. Looks like I have 5 or 6 sprouts. Hopefully that's not too many. Here we have golden wax beans. We've got 2 sprouts. And in this container, I planted a bunch of mystery seeds. And although they're sprouts, I'm not sure if that's actually what the seeds were, because they looked kind of anywhere from cucumber, melon, or squash would be my guess. That's the size and shape that they were. I don't know if any of these could be something good. I'll let them go for a little while and just see, but I'm thinking they're weeds, probably. But these seeds were just random in one of my old seed Ziploc bags, no package, so I thought I'd let them try to grow, but I'm not sure they're growing. And this little man is just waiting for us to check out our back garden. He's probably going to follow me into the backyard now. And here we are now in the backyard. That is our kitchen door, just in the left there. And we've got a whole bunch of containers here on the table. This is lettuce I planted in a container, and this one is called May Queen, and we have excellent germination here. These sprouts are just living a very good life in this container. No complaints there. And that's May Queen. And in here, these are some extra cucumber sprouts, seedlings. I had such excellent germination on my container cucumbers, both in the milk jugs and containers, that these ones I'm going to be giving to my parents because their cucumbers have yet to sprout. So I ended up with way too many cucumber sprouts for my garden, so I'll be giving them away. Transplanted a couple days ago, and they're doing fine in their little pot. Beside it is my herb fairy garden. We have sage, rosemary, and thyme, and a little nasturtium that's self-seeded in the middle, which I absolutely love. And I'll just swing around. You can see my little fairy garden in there. I think it's going to be even more cute once the plants mature. They've been very slow to grow with our cold, wet spring. But once they're bigger, I'll give you another update and show you how the garden looks with bigger plants. Coming this way, over here, these are my windmill palms. They're not in pots, they're actually in the ground. They are just tiny, tiny little palm trees. If you can see, growing beside my patio area. There's 3 of them. And I grew these from the tiniest little seedlings. I bought them on Facebook Marketplace about at least 4 years ago, maybe even 5 years ago now. They had 2 tiny little leaves. They weren't even frauds, just like little leaves. And I started them as houseplants. They were from somebody's palm tree seedlings. They were selling them for like $2 or $3 each. So I just bought 4 of them. I ended up giving 1 away, but here they are now. Several years later, they're very slow to grow in our climate, but they grow fine. I probably need to trim this one. The leaf is looking a little funky. Maybe give it some more fertilizer, but they're doing pretty well, especially with our harsh winter we just had. So beside them in grow bags, we have 5 or 6 bell peppers here. These were starter plants. I did not grow these from seed, but they're doing very well. Lots of little flower buds on them. Some have already finished blooming, and I don't know if you can see, I think where I'm trying to zoom in, that we have a little bell pepper forming. Could be wrong, but I think it's a bell pepper. Over here, we've got another bell pepper. And a few more coming this way, all in grow bags. Over here are my remaining milk jugs. And just a few left, mostly flowers that are left. A majority of these I planted into my landscape already, with the exception of this one here, which I believe is a honeydew, if I'm not... Yeah, this is a honeydew melon. I'm just giving them a little more time because they're still fairly immature, these seedlings. But pretty soon they'll be joining the others in the vegetable garden. This little guy is doing his morning roll on the gravel balcony. Here, I believe this is a watermelon. Some of them I planted into my garden. This is like the last straggling one it's getting a little more time in the milk jug before it goes into the garden area. And over here, most of these, if not all of them, are cucumbers I planted. This pot, Cucumber Diva, I had a crazy germination rate. There's 3 left in here. I had at least 9, I want to say maybe even 10 seedlings. Pretty much 100% germination in this pot. I direct seeded into the pot, not from milk jugs, and I could not believe the germination was incredible and very quick. So that's why I have so many to give away. And in this container, this is a cucumber called Early Minnow. I'm not sure how to say it. We've got 4 in here, which is 5, which is probably still too many. So probably gonna wait for them to mature a bit and give some more of those away. And in here, we've got 2. I believe I took 1 out for my parents. And this cucumber is called China Jade. So we've got a couple of those. And I also have put some of these into my vegetable garden already. So there were even more in these pots than you're currently seeing. This is just what's left over. And over here, we've got 4. This is a cucumber called Spring Burpless. I should say 3, not 4. They're doing very well in that soil mix that I put in. Here is a cucumber. I didn't label it because honestly I was getting lazy. It's one of the same ones we've already seen. And same with over here. Another cucumber by itself in a pot that was from another pot. And here is my lime tree. It lost all of its leaves. It was in the house all winter and I took it out probably the end of March, beginning of April, because it was looking rather sick. It was losing leaves like crazy. It ended up losing all of its leaves. I gave it tons of fertilizer and pruned it. And a couple months later, well, almost 3 months, it's finally absolutely full of little buds. So I think it's going to be healthy. It was living its best life in our heat dome last summer, but now we're having one of our coldest summers. So we'll see what the weather does, but it's probably going to stay outside now. Beside it is a herb pot with some basil. We've got Thai basil that was store-bought. This is one of my homegrown basils that took a beating when I put it outside. Marigolds. And that's pretty much it. I think it will fill in pretty nicely. And once it fills in a bit, I might even do another fair garden in here. Maybe. Not sure yet. And again, a citrus tree. This one is lemon. That also took a beating this past winter. And it also had been fertilized, or I gave it fertilizer and a pruning. And I think it's just starting to get new shoots coming out now. Just slowly starting to rebound. If only we could have some hot weather. We get one day of 20 degrees and then it goes back to 13 degrees. So if the weather was more consistent, these plants would be much happier. And the last pot I'm going to show you is this absolutely decorative, probably my biggest pot that I own. And I planted this beautiful yellow flower a couple days ago. I don't think I saved the tag. I'm not sure what it's called, but I planted it once before and it did well in pots, so I thought I would try it again. And a little watermelon seedling. This one did come from a milk jug. And I also seeded some actual watermelon seeds in here, and I don't know if you can see, one is just starting to sprout. So I am super excited to try growing watermelon in a container. I have a trellis or tomato cage that we're going to try to use to make it work. And my rose bush is trying to climb in the tomato cage. So we're going to see how that plays out. Might need a little bit of relocation or trimming, I'm thinking. I also thought once the watermelon gets a little bigger, I might make a fairy garden in this pot. Possibly. We'll see how it goes. That's going to be all for today. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you in the next one. Have a good day.